And you're welcome back. You're still following today's edition of the BD Show. We're having Asanji Yvette, Mrs. Asanji Yvette. She is a relationship and marriage counselor, and we're honored to have her here with us. So, ma'am, after sharing with us your journey, sometimes we realize that people get into things like this may have had such experiences from their backgrounds. You know, you hear stories like my mom used to be treated badly by my dad and things like that. So what was your source of inspiration?
Oh, that's wonderful. You got it right. Actually, I come from a polygamous divorce home. Oh. Not just polygamous, yes, but also divorced. And my mom, my mom and my dad got divorced when I was 5 years. So growing up with a single parent, I actually saw what it meant. It wasn't easy. And so when I grew up, I think that inquisitiveness of why are marriages failing, why did my mom's own fail? And even though I tried to ask my mom and she thought I was too small to understand, she couldn't explain anything to me. Unfortunately, I'm now a grown-up. I wish she could talk to me, but she's no more. So may her soul rest in peace. But from there, I think that passion, grew to another level.
Yeah. Yes. So how has the journey been this far?
It has.
From the moment you felt like you were taking it like a full-time activity, how has it been?
Yeah, it's been challenging. I won't lie to you. Sometimes when you listen, you sit in the counseling room, you listen to clients' problems, and sometimes you begin to wonder if you were the one in their shoes, will you even bear it? Yeah. Yes, sometimes it's not easy, and that's why every counseling room we always have a tissue, because people come and cry. Yes, it's even part of therapy.
You allow them cry?
Yeah, it's part of therapy.
Okay.
Yes, if somebody is so emotional and they feel like crying, you give them time to cry. You just help them with tissue. When they have cried and they are ready to talk, it's funny, right?
Yeah, it is.
But then, this is where people come and express their pains.
Yes.
Yes, so sometimes somebody is just like, I just wanted somewhere that I can air out. Mom, please just listen. I don't even need. I'm not even sure I need a solution. I just need you to listen. Let me just air out, because I've been holding it. It's pressing me. It's killing me. I say, okay, I'm fine. I'm here. I'm all ears. Yeah. And then they begin to pour out. Sometimes they really cry. It really gets emotional. Yes, but then you understand that these are pains, emotional pains people are feeling.
When one sees you, we could begin to have the conviction that everything is just nice, it's just fine.
Yeah, it might look so fine. Anyway, let's say it's fine, because at the end of every counseling session, by the grace of God, every client leaves the counseling room feeling better. Okay. I think that's where we can say there is joy. But at the beginning of it, it's not always easy. Sometimes when I have couples, if you've come to my office, you're going to see sometimes couples come in, the husband is sitting on the chair the other way, the wife is sitting on the couch the other way. Sometimes they even come differently, and I'm like, can you two greet each other before we start? No, nobody's greeting the other person.
And we're fortunate they accept to come always two all the time. Have you had instances where one come and the other?
No, one comes. Sometimes we have to call the other spouse to come. Sometimes some resist coming, sometimes some come. Yes, but when they come, especially on the part where they have been maybe not been talking, or to the level where maybe the wife has left the home and is staying somewhere else, maybe for a week, 2 weeks, or months, you have to get them. I say, okay, for us to start, we're going to be talking. All of us we're going to be talking. So if you don't greet her, or she doesn't greet you, I'm not gonna start anything. Then I wait for them to greet themselves. Sometimes the husband is like, hello, the wife is.
So what has been that sounds like an interesting experience. You want to share some more of those interesting experiences?
Yeah.
At least from the level of invitation and then the takeoff in the counseling exercise?
Yes. It's really, like I said, it's challenging, but it's fulfilling. Yeah. I feel so happy. I feel joy doing it. I feel joy doing it. And sometimes when you hear couples' problems, if you're not careful, you might be intimidated. Like, will I be able to handle this? Yeah. Will I really be able to handle this? I give you an example. A lady that is here in let's say in Cameroon, a lady that is here in Cameroon, and the husband is out there, and the husband signed papers with a lady, just to facilitate his documents that way. And to the wife here, she knows that the husband did it just for documents purposes, but just to later on discover that they were married like that. It was real marriage.
And they have children.
They are staying.
Coming.
Yeah, they're staying there. They're having kids. They are raising up their family, and the worst of it all, sometimes family of the man knows. Mm-hmm. You can see how the lady feels betrayed by not just the husband, betrayed by the husband's family. That means betrayed by her in-laws.
Yeah. And
sometimes she's the only one that is kept in the dark. Then before she's realizing it, she's seeing the wife there posting pictures of them on her status and things like that. So sometimes it's really challenging. It's really challenging. Yeah. But then with counseling, after listening to you, one thing I always tell people is counseling is not advice. Because
you see why I cannot be a marriage counselor? Because this is the kind of marriage I would advise somebody to take a machete. You need patience. I would advise somebody to look for a gun and...
Yeah, you need a lot of patience, even to listen. Because sometimes when somebody comes, they have a long story. Mm-hmm. They have to tell you how it started. We met. Sometimes they're talking and they're smiling. At one moment they're talking, they're crying. Their mood keeps changing. So it's not easy, but it's a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's come back to our environment.
Okay.
How do our people, you're citing an example which looks, yes, because it involves something abroad. People keep having the impression that some of these things could be too foreign for us. Mm-hmm. Are families actually concerned about this around us here?
About counseling?
Do they respond to counseling calls? Do they feel the need for counseling?
All right. Counseling is a field where we are still struggling to make people understand that they need the services of a counselor.
Yeah.
In fact, when we talk about marriage, let me talk about marriage in particular. Yeah. When we talk about marriage is a union between two people. If there should be a third party to that marriage, it should be a counselor, not friends, not family. In times of conflict. Now, the reason why we discourage bringing in family is because, let's say you're my husband, I'm your wife, and we have a conflict, I'm bringing in my family. No matter how fair my family wants to be, they'll take side with me. If you're bringing in your family, or we are bringing in your family, no matter how fair they want to be, they'll take side with you. So, at the end of the day, the solution to that problem is not well handled. Even if it's handled, it's kind of temporal. Or let's say even if it's handled, one party is pleased, the other party is not very pleased. Then friends is even the worst case. You don't even bring in friends into your marital problems, because today they are loyal to you because maybe they're benefiting one or two things from you. Tomorrow, when they might become your enemies, they'll use whatever they know about you against you. Yeah. So we encourage that if you have a problem, as maybe marital problem, the only person you can involve is a counselor who is a neutral person. Secondly, your information will be kept confidential, because we work with the law. If we breach confidentiality, a client has right to take us to court. Okay. Yes. So a counselor is neutral. A counselor helps you get lasting solutions, not taking sides with anybody.
That's interesting to know. This will be an interesting part. You are the marriage counselor. You just told us about confidentiality, please. I don't know how you're going to manage this part. I said interesting following your last submission. Mm-hmm. I'm particularly interested in examples of problems people bring to you.
Yes. Oh, but now let me say something about confidentiality. I'm
interested in the kind of examples, like 2 or 3.
All right.
Yes.
Anyway, when I talk about confidentiality, there are
also bedroom problems.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, yes.
Bedroom will always be there,
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I talk about confidentiality, there's an aspect of confidentiality where somebody's life lesson can be, taught to others without revealing identity, location,
thank you very much,
age, name, nothing.
Thank you.
Yes. So with that, I think let me cite the case of you want that of bed issues.
Choose, please. Choose.
All right.
It depends on you.
All right. Sometimes couples come in for counseling and they're like, "Madam, this woman doesn't respect me. This, that," and they're turning around the bush. And if you're not careful to really, listen to them, because what we do is, communication is listening, not just listening, attentive listening. And when I listen to you as a counselor, I'm picking what you're not saying. I don't only follow your words. I pick what you're saying. I pick what you're not saying. I take note of your body language. I take note of your facial expressions. And so when you're talking, I still see like there's something you're not saying. And so with what we call in counseling probing questions, I keep asking you some of those questions based on what you tell me. I prop you, and before you know it, you get to open up to this. But when we talk about bed issues in particular, the truth is, most often, I've had cases where women don't like, they are not the same. They're not having the same appetite for sex like the men does.
Okay.
I think I've had just 2 cases where the woman's appetite is a little bit higher than that of the man, and so she finds it difficult to tell the man, and because the man might look at her like she's been a prostitute. Yes. So now during counseling, when I'm saying it, when you hit the nail, they say like, "Ma, tell him, let him hear that. Are you hearing? Yeah. That you're supposed to take your time and prepare me, because you just come and then before you know it, you're already off." so
I expected that, right? Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes during counseling, it's normal. You can hear the man say, "Ma, tell her," and then sometimes it's like, "Okay, are you hearing?" So bed issues is one thing that holds marriage. Yeah. Yes, the bedroom, sex in particular. If you don't go about it the right way, it will always bring problems. Sometimes the problem is that the man is not taking time to prepare the lady. So some women don't. In fact, they don't even know what orgasm is. Yeah. They just hear about orgasm, and they've never experienced it. And it's like, why have you not experienced? No, ask my husband. Okay, you now need to start finding out their love languages. What is your love language? Do your spouse speak your love language? How do you prepare them? I always tell couples, if you need a good sex in the night, as a man, you need to start being, just be kind to your wife from throughout the whole day. Just that kindness, even at work, you just call to check on her. How are you, baby? It keeps her emotionally prepared. Because a woman is an emotional being. It takes her time to really come, get ready for sex. But the man, just with the twinkle of an eye, you see her naked, you're okay, you're good to go. But the woman really takes time. You need to know her soft buttons to press. You need to take time to prepare her. And most often I will encourage even bathe. That's the whole lesson. I will not want to really go. Like it will take us all the time here.
Yeah. So interesting to hear that. Well, I will not allow her to start giving you lessons. All of you out there, some of you are already like, "Madam, just go on. Just tell us what to do. Just tell us if this is not the place. If you need her, please, you can always contact her. Please, what's your contact? Just share your coordinates very quickly before we take our next break.
All right. Please just do WhatsApp. WhatsApp me +237 654 55 8560.
Okay. That's very quickly. Thank you very much, ma'am. We're going to be taking another break. When we return, it will be my take. And after my take, it will be time for us to discuss marriages in crisis times. Okay? It's a very important conversation. Don't go away.